distinguished faculty members, the younger leaders of TEDxIIMRohtak, and all the esteemed guests. Namaste and greetings to you all. It is indeed a privilege for me here to be among some of the finest minds that will shape the India's future, not only in the business and management, but in values, in leadership and vision. When I received the invitation to speak on the theme, Learn, Unlearn and Relearn, I found it remarkably relevant, not only in this era of rapid transformation, but for my own life's journey. If I were asked to summarize my decades of service in police and public life, I would perhaps say that it has been a continuous cycle of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Learning gave me direction, unlearning gave me freedom, and relearning gave me purpose of life. As you all know, learning is the foundation of growth. Or we can see it is the first act of the growth. It is a learning which transforms knowledge into wisdom and experiences into insights. Human civilization has been constant about one thing, that without learning, life is not even just like equivalent to animals, but it is worse than animals. And they mentioned, in this world, Nehi Janen Sadarsham Pavitram Yeditate. There is nothing in this world which is equivalent to knowledge, which is as purifying as the knowledge. And that is why, from ancient Gurukul or ashram type to modern universities, every institution and every society has emphasized on learning. It was also considered that it was not an individual duty, but a social responsibility. A responsibility of the state to arrange, to open the institutions, to arrange the surroundings so that the new generation gets learning. And about the learning, it has been said that Anantaha Veda, this knowledge is infinite. In fact, I was reminded a small parable in our scriptures. One rishi, one seer, in the name of Bhardwaj, he was studying penance for about 300 years. After 300 years, Indra came to him and they asked, Rishi, if I give you 100 more years, what will you do? And Bhardwaj replied, I will again devote my time in learning and relearning whatever I have done. If we learn, or through learning, the boundaries of our mind get expanded. If we stop learning, the boundaries start getting shrunk. The stage of learning is never static. It is to be raised through deliberate efforts, or it will go down. That is why in Upanishads there is a saying that it is a sacred responsibility to the society. TEDxIIMRohtak must say. If you want Amrit, if you want immortality, immortality not of the body, but if you want the immortality of your ideas, your impact of your legacy, pursue learning. As I mentioned earlier, that nothing is great as compared to the learning. When I joined Indian Police Service decades ago, my learning was not limited to police laws or administrative manuals, but real learning came from the streets when I came to the field. I learned from the people I served. I learned from the colleagues I worked with. And I learned from the challenges, from the circumstances which tested not just my courage, but my consensus. I learned that leadership in public service is not about authority. It is about accountability. It is not about commanding or giving the orders, but it is commanding your own principles. I learned that integrity is not a choice, but it is a principle. Principle which can stand firm even when temptation whisper otherwise. But there is the other side of the learning. Everything we cannot learn from the books and experiences. In our olden days, in fact, during our childhood also, we are given this lesson. Many things you learn when you reflect upon yourself. We call it Swadhyay. Self-study, introspection. You study yourself. What are your qualities? What are your attributes? What are your mistakes? What mistakes you have committed? Every day you have to improve. That is the Swadhyay. And that is why, through reflection, through introspection, when we review ourselves, some of the things we have been clinging to, we think, no, it is no more relevant to life. We start unlearning that. Through reflection, knowledge becomes insights. It starts, as I mentioned earlier, through learning, through reflection, one finds the path. And what is the path? What is the ultimate objective of the life? This learning and introspection takes you to taking that direction. But everything in this world, just we cannot keep on clinging whatever we have learned. As I mentioned, when I came to the field, I found that some of the things which I learned in my National Police Academy, I found that they were not relevant in the field. Some of the things I have to unlearn. As even after 25 years of service, I got an opportunity to go to US. There is the Baton Rouge Police Academy in America. I was drafted for a counter-terrorism course. And for 25 years, whatever I learned, how to aim a target, how to fire your weapons, we had to unlearn everything. We learned new things. And we realized it was good for us. If you want to fight terrorists, you must unlearn some of the things which you have been learning in India for about 25 years. When I became Commissioner of Police Mumbai, many people thought that I have reached the summit of my career. But reaching the top is not the realization of your life. I found that many of the things which we believe are essential for life, many of the things you find that they are no more needed. Even as Commissioner of Police, from Commissioner of Police, when I joined politics, many of the things I had to unlearn. In police, we know what is the command, how to give command, how to keep the control, commanding orders. But in the public life, we have to unlearn giving orders, control. We have to unlearn all these things. And we have to relearn. Instead of control, what is consensus? We have to give. It is not everything that when you go to the public, you require the patience, which perhaps in the public service, it is not perhaps everywhere it is not required. But in the public life, it is required. That is, there is one concept. Concept is, we call it, in philosophy it is called sunyata. Emptying the space. You have the empty space, something can come new to us. In Vedas, there is a verse called, or hymn, Anu Bhadraha Kirtvaho Jantu Visvata. Let all the good ideas come from all directions to me. And whatever the best direction I can accept. But if there is no empty space, it cannot germinate. It cannot find the ground. That is why it is called sunyata. That is why learning and unlearning is the part of the life. Then we go ahead. Because learning gives you foundation. Learning gives you direction. But real learning in the life comes through relearning. Real growth. How to be successful and shining in your life. And as I mentioned to you, when I came in the public life, in the politics, so many things we have to relearn. Otherwise, there is no other go. When technology is advancing so fast, when the innovation, data, artificial intelligence are rewriting the rules of engagement, we have to learn the balance in the life. And what some people call it, the middle path, the madhya mark, how to balance the life. In this technological world, we are getting highly connected, but attention is diminishing. There is a loneliness inside. Because we have not bothered about that Satya. Because the real learning comes from within. That within we have forgotten. And that is why in this world suicides are increasing. The number of the murders taking place, whether in India or outside, there are 6 times more suicides. Families are breaking because we have forgotten. In this technological world, some of the timeless values we have forgotten. We must relearn how to balance the life. Some of the things, whether it is the patience in the life, whether it is dharma we call it, and I call it dharma. What is the dharma? It is the timeless values. Dharma means whatever you expect from others, you start doing to others. Dharma does not mean that you go to the temple or the mosque or to the other religious beliefs. Dharma, it is connected to your soul. And whatever you believe is right, you start doing to others. Whatever you expect from others, you start doing to others. The timeless values, patience in every crisis. And I found that every phase of my life has been a continuous cycle of learning, unlearning, and relearning. From policing to policy making, as member of the parliament, or as minister, or for managing crisis to managing consensus. Every here, in every phase of the life, the learning, unlearning, and relearning were continuously going on. The balance was going on. And I would like my friends, especially the young friends for the IIM, that my message to you, keep on learning, because it will give you the foundation of the growth. Learn deeply, but wherever it is, you find it, that is your old thing. Don't keep on clinging to the tradition. Respect the tradition, but don't get imprisoned by the tradition. Welcome the innovation, but don't get blinded by the novelties. How to bring a balance of both these things? There must be tradition. Even the tradition bound with timeless tradition, timeless values. But at the same time, we have to welcome the innovation. We must have that kind of the balance. We must have the openness with the conviction, tradition with innovation. That balance has to come. So we have to learn deeply. And its time demands. We have to unlearn bravely, fearlessly, and relearn endlessly, tirelessly, because there is no limit to learn in this life. My friend, thank you very much for inviting me here, and I wish each one of you that you progress in the life with the lamp of the light of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Thank you very much.